Greetings dear viewer and welcome back to the second installment of my new video series Album Haul, where I take a look at all the new albums I collect each month, as well as old favourites, some rarities and whatever I manage to find around album stores, thrift stores, overseas suppliers, etc. If you haven't seen the January album haul, I recommend giving that one a watch first because it acts as a sort of introduction to the series. As for February, I am wearing my NF shirt because I was fortunate enough at the start of the month to go and see the American rapper NF in Auckland, and if you'd like to see more of that, I also have a video on that called The Road to NF. Somewhere in the comment section, I'd say I'll put it in the description. Anyway, without further ado, let's get a crack on with February albums. The first one that I got this month that was a new release was Father of All by Green Day. And no, I'm not going to be referring to it as its full title. I can't consider myself a huge Green Day fan. Sure, I grew up in the early 2000s, so I know American Idiot, 21 Guns, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, When September Ends, you know, all those hits. The only pre-2000s Green Day song I was aware of was Basket Case because Bastille did a cover of it. Regardless, I bought the Greatest Hits album a couple of years ago because I really enjoyed their last album. Was it Revolution Music? I really liked that one. I never managed to get it on CD because it just disappeared off shelves and the pre-owned price is way too high, so I've listened to that one a couple of times and enjoyed it. And yeah, when they released Father of All, Fire, Ready, Aim, Oh Yeah, and Meet Me on the Roof, I was like, I like these songs. Each time they released a new song, I really liked it. And so when the album came out, for the first time ever, it actually came out on release day in New Zealand. If you don't know, New Zealand has a real problem with getting albums on release days. But this one actually came out, and it was one I didn't pre-order, but seeing as it was out release day, I thought, you know what? I'll pick it up. I picked it up, I listened to it. It's very short, like 24 minutes long, so it's easily digestible. It's, yeah, not as punk as some of their more well-known albums. It's focusing more on like the pop rock aspects, but I do really enjoy this one. And the fact that it's 24 minutes, I suppose, helps. It is a bit strange though when you get these great bands that have been around for decades and there's years, like 4 or 5 years between album cycles, and then they release an album that's like less than half an hour long. It does seem strange, but I'm not too upset. You know, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Green Day, although I do have to get into them a lot because I'm going to see the Mega Tour at the end of the year because thankfully Australia and New Zealand are getting the Mega Tour with Fall Out Boy, Green Day and Weezer. Don't know anything about Weezer. That's going to be hard to get into, but you know me, I love Fall Out Boy and pretty soon I'm going to love Green Day too, so yeah, I'd actually recommend giving this one a listen. It's very exciting. Has a fair bit of diversity on there as well. It's not all just the same sort of repetitive shtick. It is pretty varied. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it now because you're probably bored of hearing me talk about Green Day. There's one other new album that came out this month that we got, but I'm going to save that for a later section of the video. So now I'm going to move on to the chunk of the video where I talk about all the albums I did manage to get. And I'm really excited to show off Simple Creatures' Strange Love EP. I ordered this one back in January. I love Simple Creatures. 2019 for me was the year of Blink-182 and All Time Low, like new Blink-182, and I just got obsessed and addicted listening to California and Nine, and then just all of All Time Low, and I really enjoyed it. And then I found out that this band I had already heard a couple of songs of was literally Alex from All Time Low and
Mark Hoppus
from Blink-182. So I listened to it, and don't get me wrong, there's 2 EPs. I love Strange Love, but their second EP, Everything Opposite, is so good. I love every song on there, like the Wolf, Nevermind, One Little Lie. That was like one of my favorite songs of the year, One Little Lie. But this one's awesome as well. Like Strange Love, How to Live, Adrenaline, they're some of my favorites. Ether is really weird, but I dig it. Drug and Lucy are awesome as well. They're supposed to release a full album this year, and I don't know, there's a part of me that kind of wants them to include songs from the 2 EPs, so at least you don't miss out. But at the same time, I'd love to hear more music from them, which is interesting because they're both technically releasing new music. I guess Blink-182 just released their new album, but All Time Low are releasing new music right now, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. So yeah, Simple Creatures, they're really cool. Give them a listen. If there's a song I definitely recommend, it would be One Little Lie, which isn't on this particular one, but I'm so happy to got this. Thank you very much, Groovy Records. The following 3 albums I brought from Mel on Trade Me, so thank you, Mel. We've got All Time Low's Dirty Work, All Time Low's Don't Panic It's Longer Now, and All Time Low's Future Hearts. As you can see, Dirty Work is in terrible condition. It was an ex-library rental. It's just, yeah, oh dear. So when I was in Auckland for NF, I went to Groovy Records and said, hey, can I order this album? Because I already own it, but it's in pieces and I can't display that. I made the mistake of listening to Don't Panic first, but this one here, like I remember reading up about their discography and it said that they completed the album, was ready to release, but something happened with the music studio or whatever, and they wouldn't get it out on time, and by the time the album was ready to release, they had already moved on to better things in their own mind. But I've listened to it again. First time I listened to it, I was like, oh, I can kind of see how they would just, you know, move on from this pretty quickly, subpar. But I listened to it again and it's alright. I actually quite like the middle of this album. Like, there's 3 chunks. The start, I'm like, oh, it's okay. The middle bit, I really enjoy. There's some good songs on there, and then the final part of the album's like so-so. Obviously, I'll fall in love with it eventually, but at the moment, it's just, well, I'm obsessed with Don't Panic It's Longer Now. Now, this This is exactly why I collect albums, for rarities, deluxe editions, anything that has bonus tracks and DVDs and little booklets, that sort of stuff. I love it. It's a fold out, like just, I wish I was around back when this was new. It's got its own serial number 202 out of 15,000, so it is a limited release. I knew about this, I knew it existed when I was, looking up their discography, but I never thought I'd be able to get a hold of it. But here it is. Thank you, Mel from Trade Me, and I love this. This was the first album I listened to when I got my album haul this month, and I haven't stopped listening to it. I am obsessed. I love The Reckless and the Brave, Backseat Serenade, For Baltimore. So many songs on this is great. I love it as an album. Listening from start to finish is just such a great experience. I haven't enjoyed listening to an album from start to finish this much since last year's 9 by Blink-182. I just love it. There's so many good songs. Long live the reckless and the brave. I don't think I want to be saved. My song is not being sung. It's so good. I love the little bonus tracks and everything. Like, honestly, I could just make a whole video on this, but I need to move on because up next is Future Hearts, which when I first heard it, I thought, okay, so this is the point where all pop rock, punk rock bands, they go not downhill, but they got to change with the times. Just like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, where you gotta get a bit more poppy or a bit more mainstream. Otherwise, you're just gonna, fade into obscurity. Comes with some Polaroids if you want to trade and collect. So if there's anyone out there that really loves All Time Low and wants some Polaroids to trade with, hit me up, I guess. But I did listen to this one yesterday in preparation for this video, and it grew on me a lot. There's a couple of good ones on there. I really like Kids in the Dark. There's some interesting themes on there. Musically, it's different. It's always going to be a bit of a stark contrast where you're just getting into a band and you listen to music from one era and then straight to another where you're still obsessing over, the era that got you into them. So I really think I can get to like this because, as I have already said last month, I do like Lastly Young Renegade. So yeah, this one here, I'm going to keep listening to it, give it a shot, and I'm sure I'll eventually love it as well. Pop that there. Now, speaking of Blink-182, I got Plus 44. This was sitting in the Blink-182 section in Groovy Records, and I thought, what is this? And I gave it a Google. This is the side project, or the band that was created with the drummer and the singer from Blink-182 when Tom DeLonge left. So when he left, they were a bit aimless. They're like, what do we do? So they created a group, Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker with 2 other people, and created this album. It's a shame it kind of fell by the wayside. It does feel like there's something missing. Like, obviously the drumming is spot on, as always, because, Travis. I can't quite put my finger on it. It does just seem like there's a certain magic missing. Not to say that, modern Blink-182 is better. I prefer it personally, just because that's all I've been exposed to so far. I am slowly getting into old Blink-182, but this just seems like it'll be a forgotten relic of the past, which is a shame, because there's some really good songs on here. The album's called When Your Heart Stops Beating, by the way. That song is very good. So is, what's my other favourite one? Well, this is embarrassing. I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it was either Lillian, Cliff Diving, or 155. It's one of them on here. I've only listened to it a couple of times in the background without actually paying attention to what the track names are. But it is quite enjoyable. If you're curious, if you like Blink-182 and you haven't heard about it, I'd recommend giving it a listen to. But otherwise, it's, just nice little collector's item for myself. In the January album haul, I showed off A Weekend by the City by Block Party and said how much I enjoyed it and how it surprised me. Well, I went even further and got the rest of their albums. Silent Alarm. I didn't know what to expect while going into it, but I listened to it for the first time and thought, oh wow, okay, yes, so this is why it is one of those, iconic breakout debut albums that people love to this day, and it's been re-released a ton of times. It's even been re-released recently, I think in the last year or so. I'm pretty sure that was a remix album, or it might have just been like an anniversary thing, like how All Time Low did It's Still Nothing Personal. If this is your first album haul video, then, small tidbit about me, I love to collect my little collector's editions and all the bonus tracks and everything like that, and this one certainly has plenty of those. It was a really good album, definitely different to A Weekend in the City, which I found interesting. And also, the next one up is Intimacy. Now, there's a whole ton of these versions of this album out there, and this is one that I haven't heard about, and it's not on Wikipedia. It comes with a live disc. I think it's the official, it's the Australian Tour Edition, and it just has like a random live album on there with songs from their first 3 albums, which is very interesting because I've seen heaps of different box sets in, again, Real Groovy, the Auckland record store. They've had like proper boxes that have coasters. I think it used to have a t-shirt in there. There's been different deluxe editions, tour editions, and this one here is a different tour edition altogether. The Australian tour, I must admit, haven't listened to it yet. That's my fault. I listened to the live one though, which is good. And finally, their 4th album, simply titled 4. Yeah, Block Party, I thought they would go a bit stagnant by now, and this one wouldn't be as good. I listened to it, I think the first couple of tracks, I was like, ooh, what is this? But then a couple of the songs came up on Shuffle Play. I was like, this is really cool. I really like this. Again, a couple of bonus tracks. Unfortunately, this version is very different to the one I'd already previously downloaded a couple of years ago that have some really cool bonus tracks on it, like Lean and Mean and Ratchet. This one doesn't even have those tracks on it, so I guess if I was to listen to it, I'd probably just listen to it through my headphones or something. Anyway, it's not actually like a really subpar album like I was expecting. I know my partner Tamsin, who liked Block Party years ago before I did, said that she kind of fell off, you know, the hype train before this album came out, so never gave it a fair chance. But no, I actually quite enjoy this one, so I'll be interested to go back and listen to Intimacy to see how that sounds. And now for the next short section of the video, Tamsin's albums. This month, she only got one, and it's bringing up what I mentioned earlier, as it's a new album, The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. Yes, I am quite new to Tame Impala. I'm, you know, like one of those Arctic Monkeys fans that only listen to AM. I've only listened to Currents. I've been exposed to Inner Speaker and Lonerism before, but the Currents is, you know, that's my jam. But I'm trying not to get into them too much because they're coming to New Zealand in April, and I can't get time off work because my work is a nightmare at the moment. Actually, it's always a nightmare, that's not fair, but I can't get time off to go see Tame Impala, so I'm trying not to listen to this album because I'm worried I'm gonna love them and go to see them, which happens to so many bands Tamsin goes to see. She went to see Kendrick Lamar shortly afterwards. I was like, I like Kendrick Lamar. She went to see Foles shortly afterwards. I heard what went down and I like Foles. It's like every time she goes to see a band, I end up liking them. But I do actually want to see Tame Impala, and I can't see Tame Impala. But anyway, this album's really good. I mean, anyone who knows Tame Impala doesn't need me to explain it. Although I did watch a video recently, pretty sure it was by Middle Eight, that just goes into like the meanings behind every song, and it just dives in depth into the music of it. Like, I'm not good at talking about actual music. I just say, I like this, I don't like this, but this is really good. And just a little shout out to the fact that he actually made effort to turn the album sleeve into like a cool little calendar, and even put on Instagram like, album sleeves aren't dead, and I like that. I respect that. You know, I mean, I'm a physical collector, as you can see by the fact that this video series exists, so that's really cool. I'm kind of jealous. Tamsin would have liked to have gotten Grime's new album, which did release this month. However, there's a deluxe edition with a song on it she really likes, which for some reason isn't available in New Zealand, so eventually we'll probably just end up getting the album, but it is weird when they release deluxe editions that don't come to New Zealand. I always understand like Japanese bonus tracks because of their whole imports tax and how albums end up being the equivalent of like $30-40 over there, so a lot of musicians give like unique tracks just for Japan, but in this case it just seems weird that they wouldn't release it, you know, worldwide. And just before I wrap this video up, I want to briefly talk about some of the music I've been listening to this month. I need to do a quick shout out to Navy, who I neglected to mention last month. New Zealand artist just completely skipped my mind last month, probably because I was still reeling from the loss of Openside, my favourite band. But Navy is an artist who's been absolutely killing it in the Auckland scene as well as London. That's a, you know, big difference from one side of the world to the other. But Navy, I saw open for Openside back in October of last year. Navy just released her No Hard Feelings EP, which also contains the pre-released Mad at You single, which I have a full recording of on my video from last year, which if you want to give it a go, it looked really good. The EP is 4 tracks long. I really love it. I put it on my work playlist all the time when I'm at work, and it's just, it's really solid. I'm always surprised by the amount of talent that comes out of these New Zealand artists, because we're always having, you know, Australian artists tour the world, getting super famous and just, you know, being recognised. And then New Zealand is just a wealth of talent that I don't understand how we can't just break that barrier and bigger overseas. When you think of internationally recognised NZ artists, I mean, what, is 660 and Stan Walker, are they internationally recognised? I don't know. Dragon? Navy's not the only New Zealand artist that's releasing music. My man Johnny Blair just released Higher Than the Sky. It's a pretty funky tune. I recommend giving it a listen to it. Oh, good old Johnny. Good old Johnny. He's still in the early stages of his music career. You know, he lives and breathes music according to him. Music's in his blood, and he'll rock up to those little gigs where you play to 2 or 3 people in the background of a barbecue sort of thing, but you know, he makes the most of it, so good on him, good on him, good on you, Johnny. Literally just as I'm finishing editing this video, I see via an Instagram post that another New Zealand band I really like, Holloway Holiday, released a new single just in time for the end of February, and because YouTube sucks, I didn't get the notification to say that a new song had come out, and I don't check Instagram that often, so this is a last minute honourable mention to this band, and I also really appreciate your kind comment on my last video. Also, who is this? What is this? Why do I love it so much? And how am I only discovering this incredible artist now? Seriously, this video is going to be delayed by another day because I can't stop listening to him. Weeknd released a new single, which everyone's saying is very similar to Trinity or Kissland, his early work, but I'm still jamming Heartless and Blinding Lights, so I can't really comment on that one. Bon Jovi released Limitless, which is a really just subpar, by the numbers, just okay Bon Jovi song, which is strange because I love Bon Jovi, and this is supposed to be the lead single of their new album, and that's what they give us? Okay. Amazing how long a month can feel sometimes, because when All Time Low released their first single in January, I thought it was okay, it was so-so, and then they released Sleeping In at the start of February, and I did not like it. I did not like that second single. Now, a month later, again, I listened to them yesterday, and they're both just, yeah, okay, I can kind of vibe to them, except if you've watched the music video for Sleeping In, don't put fish in a fishbowl. The Gorillaz released a whole lot of stuff, and amongst their stuff were 2 songs. I don't want to hate on the Gorillaz, I know. Gorillaz, everyone loves the Gorillaz. They've released lots of just weird sound bites. I know, they're experimental, they're doing all sorts of different things, which is, you know, it's cool. You love the Gorillaz for a reason, but I just wish, you know, it'd be more clear, like, alright, this is the song, this is, I don't know, TV show, promotion, or something else. That maybe it's just me being stupid, but no, the new songs, they're, you know, you love them or you hate them. Honestly, I'm indifferent to them. I have all their albums, but this one, I don't know. I'll wait to see when it comes out, because so far the singles have just been very different, which I guess, you know, that's Gorillaz in a nutshell. Like, they defy genres, but yeah, it's a bit upsetting that, you know, there hasn't been any, like, real music to blow me away this month. Wait a second. The Strokes, baby. They're back. Oh yes, I was so excited. I wake up at 5 a.m. one morning to use the bathroom, and for some stupid decision, I thought, I'm gonna turn on my phone and just, I don't know, check some stuff before I go back to sleep. You know what I mean? It's not like there's going to be anything exciting. Oh my gosh, new Strokes song, new video, at the door. I click on it, I listen to it, I love it almost immediately. The music is so unique. It's not something that we've never heard from the Strokes before, but it is just like, it's bizarre. Like, it's not what you'd think a Strokes song would be. It's similar to when Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino came out for Arctic Monkeys, and it was so different and unique, but then you'd go back through their discography and you'd hear different, like, aspects of it. Like, there's something from Humbug that's very Tranquility Base. Oh yeah, there's a bit of that in 505 from Favourite Worst Nightmare. Same with this one here, like, it's very reminiscent of Eyes of the World and Call Me Back, I think, from Angles. It's just this droning, but in a good way, this synth ballad, and it's so good in the music video, this 80s anime-inspired retro, just, it's amazing. Tamsin didn't like it as much, that's completely fair. It's not what you'd expect from the Strokes, and I respect that, but my good friend Jude did, so I've just been talking about how much we love it. At the Door is phenomenal, I loved it, it's so good, I listened to it over and over and over again, and I never got bored. It's so strange, it's such a slow, melodic song, but I never got bored of it. At the Door by the Strokes. And I listened to a bunch of their live recordings, which I've been holding off because I don't like to listen to live recordings and new songs before they're officially released, but I couldn't help myself. I listened to Ode to the Mets, or whatever it's called, and Bad Decisions, The Adults Are Talking. 1 week later, exact same situation. Tamsin gets out of bed to go to work, I roll myself over, check my phone. Bad Decisions has been released by the Strokes, another new single with another music video. I raced out of bed, put my phone on Bluetooth, put it over the speakers, listen to it, and yes, more Strokes that we're used to. You got all the instruments back again. I liked At the Door, so it doesn't matter to me, but it alleviates some fears for a lot of people. You know, when they release that first single from a new album and you're a bit like, what's going on? Like when Fall Out Boy released Young and Menacing, everyone was wondering if the album was going to be like that. And again, my favourite album from last year, 9 by Blink-182, when they released Blame It On My Youth, people said it's the worst Blink-182 song ever, and I don't know, it might be, but it's nowhere near as good as the rest of the album. But Bad Decisions puts those fear at ease. So anyone that was worrying the Strokes aren't going to be good, you know, they are. Fingers crossed. The new album comes out in April. I cannot wait. I am really excited about the Strokes. If you couldn't tell, I love the Strokes. Just certain first impressions of Earth are like gold tier, just best ever. And Angles is my unapologetic favourite. Then you've got Room on Fire, which is just, I don't know why it's not up there for me, but it's still just this phenomenal album. You got their past, present, future, present, past EP, whatever it's called, it's magnificent. And then we don't talk about Come Down Machine. I cannot wait for the new Abnormal, that's going to be awesome. The April album haul video is going to be exciting. Oh man, I need to hang the washing up and get ready for work. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any musical opinions or thoughts you want to share, whether it's trivia or just thoughts on a song, on an album, on my terrible uncooperative hair, please just feel free to let me know. Are you excited about the Strokes coming back? Because I sure am. My next video will be out in a couple of weeks, which will be the road to My Chemical Romance, because oh my goodness, it's March 2020 already, and My Chemical Romance, it's surreal. They're back. And they're in New Zealand, of all places, first. It's wild. So yeah, I'm going to be seeing Miss June, another band, Jimmy Eat World, and My Chemical Romance. I've never been to like a festival-esque kind of gig before where there's more than just the band and the opening act, so it's going to be a long day. I am looking forward to it, and I'm like nervous about it. Like, it's gonna be a huge event. But regardless, that's not what this video is about. That'll be my next one. Will be the Road to My Chemical Romance, followed by the March album haul. Which, spoiler alert, as I said, I've already ordered a couple of albums from Groovy Records, so look out for them. In the meantime, click here to check out last month's album haul, and when the March video becomes available, I'll put it in this little corner down here. And when the My Chemical Romance, like the Road to vlog, comes out, I'll put that in the top corner. I'm not sure what I'm going to put there in the meantime, in case anyone happens to watch this in the next 2 weeks. But if you're watching this in the future, dear future self, I hope it's going well. The Strokes are back, and so is My Chemical Romance. I know that didn't rhyme, but I don't care. Thank you all very much for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll see me next time.